In the year 1187, the air was thick with tension and uncertainty, reverberating across the kingdoms of Europe. The Christian kingdom of Jerusalem, a bastion of faith and a jewel in the crown of Christendom, had fallen to the forces of Saladin, the Muslim leader whose military prowess and diplomatic acumen had united disparate factions under a single banner. The news of this catastrophic defeat sent shockwaves throughout Europe, igniting fear and outrage among the faithful. The fall of Jerusalem was not merely a loss of territory, it was a blow to the very heart of Christendom, a sacred city that held profound significance for millions. In response to this crisis, Pope Urban III, a man of deep conviction and fervent belief in the sanctity of the Holy Land, called for a new crusade. His voice resonated through the halls of power, urging kings, nobles, and commoners alike to take up arms and march to reclaim what had been lost. The Pope painted a vivid picture of the city, its holy sites desecrated, its people suffering under the rule of a foreign power. His impassioned pleas stirred the hearts of many, rekindling the flames of devotion that had sparked the earlier crusades. Among those who answered the call was Richard Plantagenet, a man destined to become King Richard I of England, known later as Richard Coeur de Lion, or Richard the Lionheart. Richard was born into a lineage of warriors, the son of King Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. From a young age, he was steeped in the art of warfare, learning the strategies and tactics that would one day define his reign. His reputation as a skilled warrior preceded him, marked by his bravery and tactical brilliance. Richard was not just a king, he was a soldier at heart, embodying the ideals of chivalry and honor. As the Pope's words echoed across the realm, Richard felt the call of destiny urging him to take up the sword and lead his people in the fight for Jerusalem. In 1189, Richard was crowned King of England in a ceremony that reflected the grandeur and solemnity of the occasion. As he donned the crown, he made a vow that would resonate through history, to reclaim Jerusalem from Saladin's grasp. The weight of the promise hung heavy upon him, but Richard's resolve was unshakable. He understood the significance of the task ahead, not only for his kingdom, but for the entire Christian world. He began to gather resources, rallying knights and soldiers, calling upon the nobility of England and beyond to join him in this sacred endeavor. As Richard prepared for the Third Crusade, the world turned its gaze toward Saladin, a man whose rise to power had been marked by humility and strategic genius. Born into a modest family, Saladin's early life was shaped by the teachings of Islam and a deep sense of justice. He rose through the ranks of military leadership, uniting various factions that had previously been at odds, forging a coalition that would challenge the might of the Crusaders. His vision for Jerusalem was not one of vengeance, but of governance, aiming to restore the city with honor and compassion. The pivotal moment came at the Battle of Hattin in July 1187, a clash that would change the course of history. Saladin, with his well-trained forces, orchestrated a masterful campaign, drawing the Crusaders into a trap. The heat of the day bore down mercilessly upon the knights, who found themselves outmaneuvered and outmatched. The battle ended in a decisive victory for Saladin, leading to the capture of Jerusalem. The city, once a symbol of Christian faith, now lay in the hands of a leader who sought to govern it with dignity. With Jerusalem lost to the Muslims, Richard's determination only intensified. He embarked on his journey to the Holy Land, his heart set on reclaiming the city that had become a focal point of Christian devotion. His preparations for the Third Crusade were meticulous. He understood that the path to Jerusalem would be fraught with challenges, and he approached the task with both strategic insight and a fierce commitment to his cause. The first significant conquest was the island of Cyprus, which Richard seized with remarkable speed, establishing a foothold that would serve as a launch point for the campaign ahead. As Richard and his forces made their way to the Holy Land, they laid siege to Acre, a city that had become a stronghold for the Crusaders. The siege was grueling, marked by fierce fighting and high casualties on both sides. Richard's leadership shone through as he inspired his troops, demonstrating the courage and tenacity that earned him the title of Lionheart. The fall of Acre would be a pivotal moment, a stepping stone towards Jerusalem. But it was also a testament to the brutal realities of war. In the midst of this struggle, Richard and Saladin would have their fateful encounter. Though they stood on opposite sides of the battlefield, there was a mutual respect that transcended their rivalry. Both leaders were warriors, bound by the code of honor that defined their roles. They recognized in each other the qualities of a true leader: bravery, intelligence, and a commitment to their respective causes. Their meetings, though brief, were marked by a shared understanding of the weight of their responsibilities. The Battle of Arsuf became a defining moment in Richard's campaign, a fierce confrontation that showcased his tactical brilliance. As the two armies clashed, Richard's forces fought valiantly, pushing back against Saladin's troops with determination. Yet the toll of war was heavy. Illness struck Richard, weakening him at a critical moment in the campaign. Despite his condition, he rallied his men, refusing to yield to despair. Saladin, aware of his adversary's plight, demonstrated gestures of respect, sending medical aid and showing concern for Richard's well-being. This acknowledgement of each other's humanity amidst the chaos of battle spoke volumes about the complex nature of their rivalry. As the war dragged on, both Richard and Saladin faced mounting challenges. Richard's troops struggled with illness and internal strife, while Saladin's forces dealt with the exhaustion of prolonged conflict. The relentless nature of war took its toll, and as both sides grew weary, the possibility of peace began to emerge. The Peace of Jaffa was negotiated, a pivotal moment that would shape the future of the region. While Jerusalem remained under Muslim control, the agreement allowed Christian pilgrims access to the holy sites, a compromise that acknowledged the significance of the city to both faiths. In the aftermath of the Third Crusade, the legacies of Richard and Saladin began to take shape. Richard, the Lionheart, became a symbol of chivalry and valor, a king who fought fiercely for his beliefs. His name echoed through the annals of history, inspiring future generations to embrace the ideals of honor and bravery. Saladin, on the other hand, emerged as a figure of compassion and wisdom, a leader who governed with a sense of justice and respect for his adversaries. Their rivalry, marked by both conflict and mutual respect, would go on to shape the narratives of heroism and chivalry for centuries to come. In the grand tapestry of history, the events of 1187 and the subsequent Crusades stand as a reminder of the complexities of faith, honor, and the human spirit. Richard and Saladin, though adversaries, recognized the greatness in each other, illustrating that even in the fiercest of battles, there exists a thread of shared humanity. Their stories, intertwined through conflict and respect, continue to resonate, reminding us that the pursuit of honor and faith often transcends the boundaries of rivalry, leaving a legacy that shapes the hearts and minds of generations.